It's time to talk about the A-League Grand Final. It's finally locked in, but everybody in Victoria is locked out. The man who talks football with us every week on TheInformer is the man from FNR, Football Nation Radio. His name is Athos Sirianos. Mate, we've locked it in. We finally know the two teams that are playing, but all Victorians basically left out of it.
And it's a shame because we have a Victorian side in the final. One more chapter to write in this long and arduous season, George.
And not only that, that Victorian side that you mentioned, that Melbourne side that is playing, it's not the one that's accustomed to appearing in a grand final. It's a huge bit of kudos for the French coach, Eric Mombau. And we're also hearing that it may well be his one and only grand final in Australia because he may already have a new job.
Yes, several things to unpack from this penultimate night of A-League. Melbourne City, it was a big occasion for them and a big achievement to get to the grand final. They have so many demons hanging on to them, the stigma of the whole Melbourne Heart days and failing to rise to the occasion in big games. Yes, they had beaten Western United before, but it would just
Three times before,
but it would just be the most Melbourne City thing to lose the most important one.
Correct.
They didn't do this. Their big players stood up. I thought Curtis Good played one of the best games of the season against Besart Berisha. He managed to keep him quiet, which is quite a rare thing these days.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you make of the opening goal for City? It had a touch of controversy.
It did. That City probably felt they should have been ahead a lot earlier when Jamie McLaren had the ball in the back of the net, only for Lachlan Wales to have been flagged offside, and then they did find that goal eventually from the penalty. Was it controversial? A little bit. They went to the VAR. They went through all the right procedures. And they got the correct outcome, I feel. And then the second goal, it was Richard Vidbikla. I think it might have gone down as an own goal, but he certainly played a big part in getting the ball there.
Well, the first few seconds of that moment when he did or didn't head the ball, depends on what your angle was. He had no idea. The players around him certainly knew that the ball was in the back of the net, and they were prepared to give him the huge kudos. But it looks more to me anyway, like it was an own goal. But it was the pressure they put on Western United, who had outplayed them, I thought. And not only in that first half, but in the early exchanges of the second half too.
Western definitely controlled the game for longer periods up until the first goal, but they didn't take many risks. We didn't see a lot from Max Burgess, or we saw Diamante play a few nice balls, but
he is a freak of nature though,
Risdon, they didn't make those big runs, and yes, Diamante, of course, he did everything he could, but they just couldn't quite break down City, who defended pretty well themselves.
He did. You said everything he could. He even went out and made sure that he helped a couple of the Melbourne City players who were having problems with cramp.
Yes, I think it was Harrison Delbridge who went down late, and Diamante was helping him as well as telling him off as well at the same time.
I thought it was priceless watching an Italian professional who spent a lifetime with other professionals who know how to slow the game down, telling another fellow professional, come on, get up. I'll help you through this. Again, commendation to all at Western United in their inaugural season. They've put up with an awful lot of themselves. They've lost a couple of key players, but my God, they were one game away from a grand final. And for Melbourne City, a terrific result. Now they've just got to finish the job.
Certainly.
This can't be seen as, we've done what we've needed to do. This is only step one, first half. They've got to finish the game now. Sydney though, Ninkovic back in the zone, and Mr. Lafondra, who has been a goal sneak that we've loved from almost the first interview we did on air at FNR with Mr. Lafondra earlier this season, or was it last season when you spoke to him? Would have been last season.
I get confused with this COVID break. I think it might have been last season.
Yeah, when he first came down under.
Yes.
And we both lauded the fact that it was great to see a real goal poacher come down under.
And his goal that he scored was a poacher's goal. It looked like Reddy was just going to play the ball out, but him and Barbarouses decided to press. It was a very well thought out goal. He applied the pressure. Not a goal you want to concede as a goalkeeper. Quite a cheeky manoeuvre from Lafondra, but it was the sealer. This game had the feeling that first goal would win because both sides defend so well. And if Perth Glory were going to score first, Tony Popovich's sides don't concede at the best of times, so they were always going to be a tough nut to crack. But Sydney forced them to attack, and the Sky Blues, as they've done so often, are through to another grand final.
So which strip does Melbourne City wear on the grand final day?
I think they will be wearing the red and white stripes, which is a popular choice among the fans.
It's a great strip.
Absolutely.
Now they've got to make sure they win in it, because I've heard from some of the fans that, what are you worried about whether they wear the red and white or not? They don't win in it. My advice is this could be the new chapter in the club's history, and they actually get to finish. It will be something special. Sydney has been remarkable all season, and to be in line to go back to back is no mean feat. It's fantastic stuff from Sydney. But let's see. Sunday, what did you make of the double-header semi-finals?
I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. There was enough time in between games to go catch a breath, take a drink, go do whatever you need
can't
to
go
do.
anywhere. We're in lockdown, mate.
No, we're well stuck on the couch for the whole 4 or 5 hours, but it was very enjoyable. It gives both sides an equal footing in this grand final. No one has more rest than the other. They'll
Correct.
go through the recovery. They'll have a light session tomorrow or on Saturday, and then straight into the grand final. So squad depth will be key for this one. No injury concerns as far as we're aware of. We know Berengay was touch and go for this game, but he's pulled up okay.
And no red cards, no yellow cards to worry about.
Thankfully.
So we wish them, may the best team win. May it be City. Okay, let's talk overseas. There's been an inordinate amount of words spoken about one Lionel Messi, the greatest player we've seen in the last decade or so. Will he stay at Barcelona? Or will the powers that be, the City Football Group, see him as an interesting investment?
Well, this is the most advanced, this whole Messi transfer saga, and it is a saga because it's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years. It's the most advanced it's ever gotten.
But it's now at the pointy end, isn't it?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. So Messi handed a document in to Barcelona declaring his intentions to leave and looking to trigger a clause in his contract which sees him leave for free. The only tricky part is this clause ended in June when the season would have ended. Now, whether the whole COVID situation adds a whole another layer to this, we're not sure, but you can expect Barcelona to put up a real fight because the transfer figure on his head is around 700 million euros. So you can imagine Barcelona being pretty disappointed to miss out on that.
If the ruling is in his favour, he walks for nothing.
Yep.
If it's in Barca's favour, there's a huge price that people will have to pay in order to gain his services. Do you have a gut feeling?
I think he'll go. I think this is the most advanced we've seen this progress, and it has to be for the best for the club. You can't have someone who doesn't want to be there reluctantly playing, and he is such an important player. It'll almost signify a rebirth at Barcelona, similar to what we saw when Ronaldinho and Deco left, when Pep came and cleaned everyone out and brought up a whole heap of players from the academy. I think it's time for that again at Barcelona.
Wow, what a time for football. Before I let you go, there's a guy called Harry Maguire, Manchester United, and he's got himself in a ton of trouble on the Greek islands.
Yes, holidaying in Mykonos.
Any of your uncles ring you up and give you some dirt that we can use?
No inside scoop on him, but he did get into a bit of trouble at a nightclub in Mykonos where he allegedly got into a physical confrontation with police. I think Bruno Fernandes has hopped over there to help him out, and the club will be doing all they can because he is their captain at the end of the day, and the season is only 2 or 3 weeks away from restarting.
And I noticed that the English manager is not going to let him play. He stood him down, let him clear his mind and get himself ready. It's an interesting time of the year. We've had this enormously elongated season for reasons that no one saw coming. And yet we have a new season almost upon us. In fact, some of the Premier League clubs have already played games.
Yes, we're in the middle of the pre-season fixtures at the moment, and right in the middle of the silly season, George, as we've discussed with Messi. We know Chelsea are doing all they can to bring
They
over.
look like they've got some money to spend.
Yes, so they've locked in Timo Werner. He was already announced prior to the end of the season, but Kai Havertz, who is from Bayer Leverkusen, another Bundesliga young gun, is the one firmly on their books, as well as young Declan Rice from West Ham. They've been looking at signing him for a few months now as well.
I always get excited when I get news from West Ham because I know it comes from a very good source.
Yes.
Athos Sirianos, as always, thank you very much for the lowdown. If you want to find out any more or keep in touch with the world game, basically any of the leagues, make sure you join FNR, Football Nation Radio. And Athos, what time are you guys on?
We're on from midday, George.
Every day. Okay. Athos Sirianos on FNR and joining us on The Informer. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.